Hey, Salim here from Siift. I wanted to just talk about the whole solopreneur indie kind of movement here that we're starting to see. Of course, vibe coding and all the crazy AI tools that we have out there now are making it a lot easier for people to build pretty valuable companies with very, very small teams or independently. And I think that Siift really helps those teams, or at least wants to help those teams, be able to focus on building a really defensible long-term position. Because the reality is that a one-person company maybe can make some money, but if they start making real money, they may have a lot of competition that comes in and tries to get in their way. And I am not particularly a fan or suggesting that everybody go the VC route or take money. I think we're starting to see a lot of changing tides there, no pun included, intended. And we think that it's great and awesome for a lot of companies to bootstrap or seed strap or whatever it's going to be. I'm always on the side of the founders, as you know, a serial founder myself, that we should try our best to maintain independence and try to maintain integrity in our vision. Not that VCs don't have that intention, but of course they come from different places, they have different considerations and biases, and oftentimes we do see that things play out very differently when they can take control of the company, right? So, that being said, I think that it's very hard for a solopreneur to be able to do everything, right? And I'm as guilty again of this as anybody. There was a time I thought I could do everything: marketing, sales, engineering, product, operations, whatever. And maybe I did, and maybe you can do it even better than me, but I doubt that you like all of those things equally, right? There's probably an area that you really like, and that gives you energy, and you can do it all day long. And there's other areas which you just kind of grit your teeth and get done because someone has to do it or it has to get done. And so when you think about the team dynamics there, you're going to be spending a lot of your time doing something that drains you. Maybe you're not the best at, because usually the things that we love, we get really good at, or at least we can get really good at, whereas things that drain us, it's very hard for us to put in the 10,000 hours or whatever to master them. And so something like Siift, or something like building a very small, lean team, is a really beautiful phenomenon that I've noticed, and I want to just kind of spread the awareness about. So have you ever seen one of these teams where you have a couple really cracked or talented people, and they probably could have gone and done something on their own, but they work together on a product or a company, and they're able to quietly build that company into a successful venture. Maybe they're earning a couple $1 million a year, maybe even more. Maybe they have just a couple people, maybe 10, and they're just humming along fine. Not always, but in a lot of cases, those companies are very beautiful because you have a very tight-knit culture. You usually have people who are very close, they're friends or they become friends, they have similar values, they work very well together. And you have this you have this sense of transparency or intimacy. There's no corporate, kind of layer, or no middle management layer, or kind of big team structure or organizational structure that requires or justifies you to have these big kind of HR policies and company communications and siloing and information management. That's a fun term. That prevent people from understanding each other in a company, right? Or that prevent people from being able to share in the profits of the company equally. Because they don't understand each other, so they don't know each other's value, and so there's always this competition. Okay, let's maximize the bottom line. Let's pay people just enough. But in these small companies, which I think are a goal for people like ourselves and probably many others, you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. Because in the corporate world, you often have really good work-life balance. You often have really good pay, at least in some places. But in the small business world, if we call it that, you often have a very strained team that has to deal with so many things. People wear multiple hats. There's no second shift that can come and take over things. And the profits are sometimes good, but oftentimes a little bit leaner than a big cushy corporate job. But now with AI, and especially teams that are very effective at using AI, not just to augment their roles, but to build a really defensible position in the market that they're in and a long-term sustainable business, those companies are able to earn more and they're be more efficient. And so you're starting to see this hybrid model come out, at least in theory, or at least in small glimpses here and there, where you have a small team that has work-life balance, that's earning cushy money, and being taken care of and feeling trusted and really aligned to their company and their organization, right? So it's very interesting for us to look at how that shift is happening and how the ability or the empowerment really of small business through AI is allowing us to kind of do that more. So a lot of people think, oh, should I go raise money? Oh, should I, find a VC? Should I do this and that? Well, if you really need it for your business, sure, I don't know your unique situation, right? But what I do know is that it's somebody else's money. And a stereotype that happens is that you become kind of beholden, or you become kind of responsible to these investors, to this board, to these people to deliver very specific things that they can often set out. So especially to younger founders who maybe don't have that kind of experience with corporations or with those types of partnerships, I would try to build as much as you can on your own. And if there is truly a partner that can bring value to you beyond just money, maybe they have connections in that industry, maybe they have deep insight in that industry, maybe they have complementary businesses or products, then that can become interesting for you. But I think for the most part, we're seeing kind of this surge of the indie wave, the solopreneur wave, which I think is a beautiful thing, and it can be done in even more strategic and even more sustainable fashion for a lot of these people. So yeah, not sure how useful that is, because I think a lot of you are super sharp and able to do this or already know a lot of this on your own. But I think I want to explain that, or I want to at least add a vote of confidence here that this is the future. And what you're doing isn't weird. What you're doing isn't counterculture. What you're doing is what most people want to be doing in the future, myself included. So I think more kudos to you, more power to you, and it'd be beautiful to see, it would be great to see more people like that kind of be vocal or kind of speak out, because it's inherent to their nature, and I count myself in this group. All my startups have been indie, none of them were venture backed, at least not when I was there. It's in our nature, maybe I'll just speak for myself here as somebody who is introverted. It's in my nature to not speak out, and it's in my nature to think more or do things on my own more, and avoid the fame or the spotlight and stuff like that. So videos like this are kind of tough for me. But yeah, it's interesting because those people who spend the time really thinking and finding their ideas and reflecting and kind of building in private often have very high quality thoughts to share, very, very interesting opinions and perspectives to share that can benefit more people. And so I think it'd be great if more people spoke out, more people who are in that indie solopreneur kind of space to speak out and become role models and become kind of influencers. Again, a term I'm probably allergic to kind of help spread the movement and help spread the word. Because think about it, what happens when we start to see a lot more small businesses and a lot of people succeeding in small business rather than corporations? The spending power, the economic power, the activity that we're seeing across society focused right now so heavily in the corporate realm becomes diversified and spread out across small business. So I don't want to ramble on too long here, but ultimately I think the future is small business, the future is indie, and what we're starting to see now in the software industry could be, not necessarily, because of course there's a lot of corporations and big money trying to do land grabs and compete for market share, but I think we're starting to see an opportunity here to make the indie and solopreneur and kind of more grassroots sustainable business movement a lot more common and viable. So anyways, I'm going blind here from the sun, but let me know what you think.